What up, guys? So I was just in meditation and came to this like epic realization that I've been struggling with for a long time. So it started when I began to think that I was God or the 10th incarnation of Lord Vishnu, which is kind of true, but at the same time, um, at the same time, if you don't surrender to a higher power, if you don't surrender to the okay, that's what it is. Okay, sorry, there's just like a lot of stuff going through my head right now. So if you look at heaven like a big circle, it goes up in tiers as you go higher and higher into the dimensions. I believe the eighth dimension is where God exists, the infinite God exists. And if you go into the eighth dimension astrally, you basically become God and you become Source, and that means you almost generate your own reality, your own universe, and because of that, if your mind isn't right, and this is why so many yogis sit for hours on end because they want to have perfect control over their mind. If your mind isn't right, you can either be Brahma, or you can be Lord Shiva, or you can be Vishnu in the middle. But Shiva the destroyer, Brahma the creator, and every god has that option, has that free will. I honestly don't recommend it, and that's why I'm selecting to be an angel, because angels don't really have free will. And at the very top, there's Prime Source, or the original God, God with the big G, and then it goes down a level, and that's where the archangels sit. And then it spreads out from there. So pretty much every single being in the entire universe is a fractal of an archangel, or a fractal of Source. It spreads out. And I honestly, I'm almost positive I got a 108 and a 111 confirmation for this when I was thinking about it, when I was looking at the clock. But the Greek pantheon, it has 12 original members, and what I think is, I think that these 12 gods are actually just archangels, and it would be Cronus being the one that created them all. And so when God splits, when Prime Source splits, it first split into, I don't know if it's 12, or because I had this vision one time of seeing Source in the form of Mount Olympus, and how it went to a peak like this, and Cronus was sitting in this huge chair, this huge golden chair up at the very top. And then it looked like to me like Zeus was right here it would be Cronus's right side, so it would be this side. I think Poseidon was on the opposite end, but I want to say that there was like 8 or maybe 7 right underneath. Like the one splits into 7 and then splits into 12, I want to say. But yeah, that's basically how the universe works. But the whole point of this video is to kind of explain that when you reach that pinnacle, there's a big decision to make, and it's whether you want to be creation itself and be the ultimate controller of your own reality, or if you want to select to be an archangel or a fractal of one of these gods. And I selected to be an archangel, but I really, well, not really. I want to be Zeus, and they're allowing me to do that. But that comes with the knowing that you serve the collective of these 12 gods, and you serve the one almighty God above you, And it's interesting that the Freemasons, there's a lot of controversy about the Freemasons, but one of the one of the requirements for entering the Freemasons is that you have to believe in a higher power, and that's exactly what it means. Is like you don't become, you're not the one in control, and that when you reach that high pinnacle level, you basically become the one in control, and you become everybody becomes a reflection around you and becomes a reflection of yourself. And but if you go down a level like I'm doing to Zeus, and I'm obviously not the full Zeus, because that I honestly think that Archangel Michael is Zeus, but I'm not sure about that yet. But what I'm saying is that the universe is massive, 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 and I'm just one little speck in space, you know. And God obviously is in the center of the universe, or he's really everywhere. But that Archangel Metatron said that if the entirety of Archangel Michael was present on Earth, it would vaporize the Earth instantly, because the energy is so strong. So that being said, when you become God, you don't have to worry about being too powerful. And there's like, you always have to remember that there's something above you, because if you became Source itself, which you kind of do, you're not powerful enough to destroy a planet as just one human. You know, you can only go to a certain level, and it's pretty amazing. I'm trying to think of where else to go with this, because it's super important that people understand this. This is basically the ascension. Like, if you want to keep going higher and higher and higher, you eventually reach that point to where you become a god. But there's no need to worry about it, because so my journey, I basically fell into this black hole, and I created this black hole below me on accident, really, because I've reached that very top level, and then I was like so scared about creating a reality that was negative, that I kind of generated this black hole below me. But then I was able to find out how to, I've talked about it in the other videos, but I was able to find out how to connect to these inner layers of consciousness in the in the Milky Way. And humans are maxed out at 14 chakras, and for good reason. Yeah, so if you fall into that black hole like I did, I basically had to climb my way out and find a way to connect with true Source, in relationship to the size of the universe, you know. So I was able to do that and activate my 14th chakra above my head, and every time that I pull that energy through, it reminds me that there's a greater power above me, and that power is always in service, and gives light and love to Earth, and that's what's doing it, you know. It was very scary going through that, and I honestly don't recommend. I mean, if you want to journey up that way, just know that there might be darkness. You might have to go through darkness, and it's a beautiful thing. It was such a blessing to experience the darkness, but to finally realize that there's a higher power above me, it was such an epic realization. And yeah, I think that's all my spiel. Hopefully that made sense. I was like all over the place at that, but yeah, so I guess a brief synopsis. There's one source, one pinnacle, and you can astrally travel up through these dimensions and reach that pinnacle. But when you reach that, you kind of generate your own universe, and Source lets you experience darkness if you want to experience darkness, like Lord Shiva, you know. And but then once you climb out of that and realize how to, what I think happened is I found the gateway through our sun, and then I found Sirius, which is the next star over inside of this big inside of our galaxy, and it goes closer and closer, and the closer you get to the center of our galaxy, the closer you are to source. And I was able to find that energy and start pulling it through my body, and found out that I wasn't, or that prime source wasn't here on Earth inside of me, you know. So it was a huge relief. So yeah, thanks guys, peace, love ya.